The world watches as two titans clash. The United States and China are locked in a trade war. Tariffs are the weapons of choice. Each side seeks to cripple the other's economy. This is not just a trade dispute, it is a struggle for global dominance. The stakes could not be higher. The outcome of this conflict will reshape the world. It will determine who sets the rules of the global economy. It will decide which nation leads in technology and innovation. Understanding who has the upper hand is crucial. The future hangs in the balance. This is not a simple contest of strength. Both the US and China possess unique advantages. America boasts a vast consumer market and a dominant financial system. China counters with unparalleled manufacturing might and control over vital resources. Each side believes it can outlast the other. The question is, who is right? The United States wields considerable economic power. American consumers are the lifeblood of the global economy. Their insatiable demand fuels global trade. China, in particular, relies heavily on American shoppers. Chinese factories churn out goods destined for American homes. This gives the US significant leverage. America's financial dominance is another potent weapon. The US dollar reigns supreme as the world's reserve currency. Global transactions are conducted in dollars. This gives the US outsized influence over international finance. The US can use this power to pressure China. Sanctions are a powerful tool. The US can restrict access to its financial system. It can cut off trade with companies and even entire countries. This financial weaponization can inflict significant damage. China is acutely aware of this vulnerability. However, this weapon is a double-edged sword. Excessive use of financial sanctions could backfire. It could erode trust in the US dollar. Countries might seek alternative currencies for trade. This would weaken America's financial dominance. The US must tread carefully. The United States remains a technological powerhouse. Silicon Valley continues to be a hotbed of innovation. American companies are at the forefront of artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and other cutting-edge fields. This technological superiority gives the US a crucial edge in the trade war. Semiconductors are a prime example. These tiny chips power everything from smartphones to fighter jets. The US dominates the global semiconductor industry. China relies heavily on American chips for its high-tech industries. The US has imposed restrictions on chip exports to China. This has dealt a blow to China's technological ambitions. However, China is fighting back. The Chinese government is investing heavily in research and development. It is determined to achieve self-sufficiency in critical technologies. Chinese companies are making strides in areas like 5G and artificial intelligence. The US cannot afford to rest on its laurels. The battle for technological dominance will be a long and arduous one. The outcome will have profound implications for the future. Whoever controls the technologies of tomorrow will shape the 21st century. Both the US and China understand this. China's greatest strength lies in its manufacturing prowess. It is the world's factory. China churns out everything from clothing to electronics at an astounding scale. This dominance in manufacturing gives China significant leverage in the trade war. American businesses and consumers have become reliant on affordable Chinese goods. American tariffs have increased the cost of Chinese imports. This has fueled inflation in the United States. Businesses are facing higher input costs. Consumers are feeling the pinch of rising prices. This has put pressure on the US government to ease tariffs. China knows this and is using it to its advantage. Moreover, China has other economic weapons at its disposal. It could manipulate its currency, the yuan, to make its exports even cheaper. It could restrict access to its vast market of 1.4 billion consumers. These actions would have significant consequences for the global economy. However, China's reliance on manufacturing also presents a vulnerability. Its economy is heavily dependent on exports. A slowdown in global demand, particularly from the US, could harm its growth. China is aware of this risk and is trying to boost domestic consumption. Section 5. Rare earth dominance, China's grip on critical resources. China sits on a treasure trove of rare earth elements. These minerals are essential for modern technology. They are used in everything from smartphones to electric vehicles to military equipment. China controls the lion's share of global rare earth production. This gives it significant leverage over the US and other countries. China could restrict exports of rare earths to cripple key US industries. This would disrupt supply chains and hinder technological advancement. It would also impact the production of military hardware. The US is heavily reliant on Chinese rare earths. This dependence is a strategic vulnerability. The US is aware of this risk and is taking steps to reduce its reliance on China. It is exploring domestic sources of rare earths. It is also seeking alternative suppliers. However, these efforts will take time to yield results. In the meantime, China holds the upper hand. This dominance in rare earths gives China a powerful bargaining chip. It can use it to extract concessions from the US and other countries. It can also use it to advance its geopolitical interests. The rare earth issue highlights the complex interdependencies of the global economy. Section 6. Shifting Sands. China's play for global partnerships. China is not fighting the trade war in isolation. It is actively forging new partnerships and strengthening existing ones. It is deepening its ties with other emerging economies, particularly those in the BRICS bloc: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. This is part of a broader strategy to reduce its reliance on the United States. China is also expanding its influence in Africa and Latin America. It is investing heavily in infrastructure projects through its Belt and Road Initiative. These investments are winning it friends and allies. This is creating alternative markets for Chinese goods and reducing its dependence on the US market. Moreover, China is promoting its own currency, the yuan, as an alternative to the US dollar in international trade. It has signed currency swap agreements with several countries. This is a long-term strategy to chip away at the dollar's dominance. Success in this endeavor would significantly enhance China's global standing. These efforts to diversify its partnerships give China greater resilience in the face of US pressure. It is no longer solely reliant on the United States for trade and investment. This reduces the effectiveness of US tariffs and sanctions. China is playing the long game, and it is playing it well. Section 7. The short game. Can America outspend China? In the short term, the United States may appear to have the upper hand. Its economy is larger and more diversified than China's. It has a deeper capital market and a more favorable demographic profile. The US government can also deploy its vast resources to support its economy and businesses during a trade war. The United States has implemented policies aimed at boosting domestic manufacturing and innovation. However, these measures will take time to bear fruit. In the meantime, the US economy and consumers continue to feel the pain of tariffs. The US is also trying to rally its allies to present a united front against China. However, this has proven challenging. Many countries are reluctant to jeopardize their economic ties with China. They are also wary of getting caught in the crossfire of a US-China trade war. The short-term outlook remains uncertain. While the United States has some advantages, it is too early to declare a winner. The trade war is a game of chicken. Both sides are waiting to see who will blink first. Section 8. The long game. China's bet on resilience. In the long term, China may be better positioned to weather the storm. Its economy, while facing challenges, continues to grow. It is investing heavily in education, infrastructure, and technology. China is playing the long game. It is willing to endure short-term pain for long-term gain. China's authoritarian system gives it a certain degree of control over its economy. It can implement policies and mobilize resources quickly. It is also less susceptible to public pressure and electoral cycles. This allows it to take a more strategic and long-term approach to the trade war. Moreover, China's vast domestic market gives it a cushion against external shocks. It is also making strides in developing its own technological capabilities. If China succeeds in becoming technologically self-reliant, it will be a formidable force to be reckoned with. The trade war has exposed the vulnerabilities of both the United States and China. However, it has also accelerated trends that were already underway. China is becoming more assertive on the global stage. The United States is grappling with its role in a changing world order. The trade war is a symptom of this larger geopolitical shift. Section 9. Conclusion: a battle for the future. The US-China trade war is a complex and multifaceted conflict. There are no easy answers or quick victories. In the short term, the trade war is a lose-lose situation. Both economies are suffering. Consumers are paying higher prices, businesses are facing uncertainty. In the long term, however, China may be better positioned to emerge from the trade war stronger. Its focus on resilience, self-reliance, and global partnerships could give it an edge. The United States, on the other hand, will need to address its own structural weaknesses and adapt to a changing global landscape. The trade war is a symptom of a larger power struggle between the United States and China. This rivalry will continue to shape the 21st century. The outcome of this struggle will have profound implications for the global order. The world watches with bated breath as these two titans clash. The stakes could not be higher.